After 75, life takes on a new rhythm. The days may feel slower, the world a little quieter, and memories often become warmer. But as a doctor who has walked alongside thousands of patients through this stage of life, I can tell you something important, something true. After 75, 99% of deaths happen because of just 5 reasons. 5. These are not random causes. They are not accidents or flukes. They are rooted in science, shaped by lifestyle, and deeply connected to the choices we make every day. But here's the good news. These causes are not set in stone. With the right awareness, action, and commitment, we can shift the odds. We can live better, longer, and with dignity. Let me speak to you like I would speak to my own mother, with love, honesty, and the hope that maybe these words might add years to your life. The first of these 5 causes is heart disease. It is the #1 reason people over 75 lose their lives. Every 33 seconds, someone in the United States dies from cardiovascular disease. That is not just a statistic. That is a person, a father, a grandmother, a friend. The arteries over time become stiff and clogged with plaque. The heart has to work harder. Sometimes it gives up. A major study by the American Heart Association found that nearly 70% of men and women over 75 have some form of heart disease. But this doesn't have to be your story. You can take steps. Walk daily. Even 20 minutes makes a difference. Eat more plants, reduce salt. Avoid smoking like your life depends on it, because it does. In one landmark study from the Nurses' Health Study, people who followed 5 simple habits, not smoking, staying active, eating well, drinking moderately, and maintaining a healthy weight, lived over 10 years longer than those who did not. 10 more years. Imagine what you could do with that time. The second major cause is cancer. After 75, the immune system weakens, and the body's ability to detect and destroy abnormal cells declines. This opens the door for cancer to grow silently. Prostate, lung, breast, and colorectal cancers are the most common. Many people think cancer is purely genetic. It is not. In fact, the World Cancer Research Fund estimates that at least 40% of cancers could be prevented with simple lifestyle changes. Think about that. Nearly half. It starts with food. Avoid processed meats, eat more fiber, limit alcohol, get screened. I cannot tell you how many lives I have seen saved by a colonoscopy or a mammogram caught just in time. Early detection is not just a medical term. It is a lifeline. And remember, stress matters too. Chronic stress creates inflammation in the body. Inflammation feeds cancer. Mind your peace. Meditate. Talk to someone. Let go of old burdens. Your cells are listening. The third leading cause is chronic lower respiratory disease. Most often, this means chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD. Over time, breathing becomes a battle. Every breath feels like climbing a mountain. Most cases stem from smoking. But even those who quit decades ago can still carry the scars. Air pollution, dust, and occupational hazards also play a role. In one powerful study published in The Lancet, researchers found that people exposed to high levels of fine particulate matter in the air had significantly higher risks of respiratory disease, even in old age. But do not lose hope. The lungs are resilient. Pulmonary rehab, breathing exercises, proper inhaler use, and clean air can give the lungs a fighting chance. If you are still smoking, quitting is the single most powerful gift you can give yourself. Even at 75, even at 80, the benefits begin almost immediately. Within 24 hours, the risk of heart attack starts to drop. Within weeks, breathing improves. The body is always trying to heal. Help it. The fourth major cause is stroke. A stroke is a brain attack. It happens fast. One moment you are fine, the next your speech is slurred or your arm will not lift. The brain, starved of blood, begins to die minute by minute. The main culprits are high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, diabetes, and smoking. Many strokes are preventable. In the Framingham Heart Study, which followed thousands of people for decades, those who controlled their blood pressure reduced their risk of stroke by up to 40%. 40%? That is not small. Check your blood pressure. Monitor it regularly. If you have atrial fibrillation, take your medications exactly as prescribed. Blood thinners can prevent deadly clots. And if you feel sudden weakness, confusion, or numbness, do not wait. Call emergency services. Time is brain. And for those who survive a stroke, recovery is possible. The brain can rewire. Therapy, patience, and persistence can restore speech and movement. But prevention is always better than recovery. Now we come to the fifth cause. It is one we do not speak about often enough. It is Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. It is not just a memory problem. It is the slow loss of self, the forgetting of names, places, faces, the shrinking of the brain. 1 in 3 seniors dies with Alzheimer's or another dementia. That is more than breast and prostate cancer combined. The tragedy is deep, but here too, there is a light. Studies show that what is good for the heart is good for the brain. The Finnish geriatric intervention study to prevent cognitive impairment and disability, known as the FINGER study, showed that a combination of diet, exercise, cognitive training, and vascular risk monitoring slowed cognitive decline in older adults. The Mediterranean diet, rich in olive oil, nuts, vegetables, and fish, has been shown to protect brain health. Social connection also matters. Isolation is a risk factor. Talk to friends, join a group, play games, challenge your mind. The brain, even in old age, can grow new connections. Neuroplasticity does not end with youth. It continues as long as we nurture it. I want to pause here and say something personal. These are not just causes of death. They are the chapters we write, knowingly or not, with the way we live. Every meal, every walk, every moment of laughter or stress, it all adds up. I have sat beside countless hospital beds. I have held the hands of people who wish they had known sooner. And I have also seen people in their 80s and 90s, strong, sharp, walking on their own, cooking their meals, enjoying their days with clarity and grace. The difference is not luck. It is often the sum of small choices repeated over time. So what can you do? Start now. It is never too late. Walk every day, even if just around the block. Move your body with love, not punishment. Eat simply, fewer ingredients, more color. Drink water, sleep deeply, turn off the screens, embrace the quiet, breathe deeply. Let go of grudges, forgive, laugh more. Watch your blood pressure, check your sugar, stay curious, learn a new song, dance slowly in your kitchen. Talk to someone when your heart feels heavy. Ask for help. You do not have to do this alone. The path to health after 75 is not paved with magic pills. It is made of habits, the right ones. And the truth is, your body is still listening. It is still healing. It is still capable of strength. The studies prove it. The science confirms it. But beyond that, I have seen it. I have seen 80-year-olds reverse their diabetes. I have seen 90-year-olds beat cancer and return to their gardens. I have seen love reignited after years of silence. Life is not done with you yet. There is still music to hear, stories to tell, hands to hold. So when you hear that 99% of deaths after 75 are due to 5 causes, heart disease, cancer, respiratory illness, stroke, and dementia, do not feel fear. Feel informed. Feel empowered. You now know what to watch for, what to work on, and most importantly, how to fight back. Because health is not just about avoiding death, it is about embracing life. Every breath, every morning sun, every smile from a grandchild, every good night's sleep. These are the rewards, and remember, the most powerful medicine you have is within you. It is not in my prescription pad. It is in your choices, your beliefs, your willingness to change. I am not asking you to be perfect. I am asking you to care enough to try. Because you are not just a patient, you are a person, a story still unfolding, and the last chapters can be the most beautiful of all. Take care of your heart, protect your lungs, nourish your mind, watch your blood pressure, feed your spirit, and above all, do not give up on yourself. 75 is not the end. It is a beginning. Let it be strong. Let it be clear. Let it be full. You deserve that. You have earned that. Now go live it. How can you know if your brain is aging well? Let me ask you something simple. When you forget a name, misplace your glasses, Or walk into a room and can't remember why? Do you ever stop and wonder if your brain is still aging well? It's a quiet question, but it carries so much weight. I've had countless patients look me in the eye and ask, is this just normal aging or is something wrong with my brain? And I want to tell you what I always tell them. There are ways to know. There are signs your brain gives you, and there are things you can do right now to keep your mind strong and sharp even into your 80s and 90s. The truth is, the brain never stops changing, and that means it never stops giving you a chance to protect it, nourish it, and help it thrive. You see, brain aging is not just about memory. It's about how clearly you think, how fast you process information, how well you make decisions, and even how you manage your emotions. The brain is more than just storage for names and facts. It is your command center. It guides your movement, your attention, your personality. So when we talk about aging well, we have to ask deeper questions. Are you solving problems with the same clarity? Do you feel confident in daily tasks? Are you able to follow conversations, manage your time, keep track of appointments? These everyday experiences are a window into brain health, and when changes begin, they often show up here first. Now let's talk about what normal aging looks like. It is natural for some things to slow down. You might need more time to recall a word or remember where you placed something, but you still get there. You still function well. You can still live independently. What's not normal is if memory loss disrupts your daily life. If you find yourself repeating the same questions, getting lost in familiar places, struggling with basic tasks like managing your medications or paying bills, that's when it's time to take a closer look. And you're not alone. Studies show that nearly 1 in 9 adults over 65 has some form of cognitive impairment. But here's the key. Many cases start slowly and can be managed if caught early. One of the most important tools we have is observation. In the clinic, we use simple cognitive tests. We ask patients to draw a clock, to remember a few words after a short delay, to solve a basic math problem. These may seem simple, but they reveal so much about how the brain is working. If someone struggles to organize a clock face, that tells us something about their spatial awareness and executive function. If they forget all the words we just told them, that tells us about short-term memory. These tests are not perfect, but they are strong indicators. And if you ever feel unsure, do not be afraid to talk to your doctor. The earlier we understand what's happening, the better we can respond. Now let me tell you what science says about keeping the brain healthy. The strongest evidence points to one central idea. What is good for the heart is good for the brain. In the FINGER study, a major trial out of Finland, researchers found that older adults who followed a structured program of diet, exercise, cognitive training, and vascular care showed slower decline in thinking skills. Not by a small amount, by a measurable, powerful difference. This was the first study to prove that brain decline is not inevitable, that with the right habits, you can slow it down, maybe even prevent it. So what does that look like in real life? First, move your body. Regular physical activity increases blood flow to the brain. It supports the growth of new neurons. A study from the University of British Columbia found that aerobic exercise increased the size of the hippocampus, the part of the brain linked to memory. That's right. Exercise actually made the brain bigger. You don't have to run marathons. A brisk walk for 30 minutes a few times a week is enough to see benefits. Next, feed your brain. The Mediterranean diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, fish, and olive oil, has been shown to protect cognitive function. In one study published in Neurology, people who closely followed this diet were almost 40% less likely to develop Alzheimer's disease. Food is not just fuel, it is information. Every bite sends a message to your brain. Choose foods that reduce inflammation and support blood flow. Keep your mind active. Learning new things strengthens connections in the brain. It doesn't have to be complicated. Read a book. Learn a new game. Pick up a hobby you've never tried before. The brain loves challenge. It grows with effort. In fact, the concept of neuroplasticity tells us that the brain can adapt and rewire itself well into old age. The key is stimulation and consistency. Now let's talk about sleep. Sleep is not just rest, it is repair. During deep sleep, The brain clears out waste proteins that build up during the day. Without good sleep, those proteins, like beta amyloid, can accumulate and lead to problems like Alzheimer's. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every night. Avoid screens before bed. Keep your room cool and quiet. And talk to your doctor if you snore or feel tired even after sleeping. Sleep apnea is common in older adults and can have a major impact on brain health. Another quiet killer of brain health is loneliness. Humans are wired for connection. Social interaction stimulates memory and emotional processing. In a powerful study from Harvard, older adults with strong social bonds had slower rates of cognitive decline. Being with others protects the brain. So reach out, call a friend, join a group. Even a short conversation can do wonders. Finally, manage chronic conditions. High blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol. All of these damage blood vessels in the brain. Over time, they lead to small strokes, loss of brain tissue, and dementia. But the good news is, when you control these conditions, you protect your brain. Monitor your health, take your medications as prescribed, and never underestimate the impact of small changes. They add up. So how can you know if your brain is aging well? You start by paying attention. You listen to your body, you notice your thoughts, you stay active, engaged, connected, and curious. You protect your sleep, your heart, and your peace of mind. And if something doesn't feel right, you speak up. You get checked. You don't ignore it. Because the brain is not a machine that wears out. It is a living, breathing part of you that can grow, adapt, and thrive at any age. I have seen people in their 80s learn new languages. I have seen 90-year-olds play chess and win. I have seen memory loss reverse through simple, consistent changes. And I believe the same is possible for you. Your mind is not gone. It is not slipping. It is simply waiting for you to take care of it with love, with intention, with the belief that every day matters, because it does, and so do you.